lifting routines for strength.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. What do you want me to say?
You say the things.
Okay. You say
You're
the
the
things.
lifting coach.
Okay. So
Phil Phails for you.
a lot of people think if they put a weight in their hand and then they run around with it, that's lifting and that's going to be strengthening. And in one sense, yes, it will be if you went from never putting a weight in your hand and running around with it. But there's different styles of training. Everybody's heard of HIIT training, high intensity interval training. And that is fast paced with some rest durations accumulated over time. And it's more about speed or high heart rate.
Those are the dynamic circuits at the gym. Is that dynamic circuits or HIIT training?
Yes. Dynamic circuits at the gym typically are HIIT training. Okay. It's just another way of saying it to not sound like everything else.
What are the other kind of trainings?
So strength training would be like you're looking to hit like that 1 rep max. It doesn't have to be necessarily powerlifting style. You can do it with other things as well, like 1 rep max of a pull-up, like a weighted pull-up. You can do a 1 rep max, or like how many reps can you do before failing of a 1-arm push-up or a regular push-up. It doesn't necessarily always have to be 1 rep max. It could be 1, 3, 5, but you're looking at these like lower rep ranges. You can add volume by adding more sets, but you're wanting to keep your rep range lower when you're testing out.
Testing out. What is testing out?
So whenever you are going to create a goal, which we'll get back to, we'll talk about that later, but whenever you're creating a goal, you should always test where you're at. So let's say that you're wanting to coach, I'm going to coach you and I'm going to look at what you do. I'm going to test your press. I'm going to test your squats, and I'm going to test your pull-ups. That's what I would do baseline for anybody, unless they had like a specific goal, like they were trying to get their deadlift higher or something.
So it's press, squat, and pull-up.
Yes.
Those are the 3 things. Okay.
That's what I typically start with.
Yep.
Because that's going to help you with overall fitness.
Yep.
And then, can you do a pull-up? Yes, no. If you can do a pull-up, how many strict pull-ups? And then I would write down that number. And then how many squats can you do? If you can do a squat and you can do 10, then how much weight can you hold to do a squat? Whether it be front squat, back squat, with a barbell, kettlebell, dumbbell, your choice of
however
weights.
You hold weight.
However you're wanting to hold weight. Whatever you have tools-wise that you can continue to recreate for your training.
Yeah.
And then, it's the same with pressing. And
it's 10 of them on the squat. It's 10.
No, like if you can do 10 air squats, then
no, I could definitely do 10 air squats, but 10 weighted squats.
No, I'm saying if you can do, like I'm talking, you're thinking about yourself.
I'm thinking about myself.
Yeah, you need to think about the lowest common denominator.
Oh, all you folks.
Yeah.
How many pull-ups can you do?
Yeah.
And then can you do 10 no weight, just body weight squats
with good form. Yeah, not just...
Which Ashtyn's going to teach us later. We're going to do a video, hopefully at the gym, where she goes through a lot of the technique stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so you need to think, like, when I'm talking to people, and that's why I said, if you can do a squat, you can do a squat.
Yeah, but not everybody.
Not everybody can do a squat. Sometimes I have to start people with sit-to-stands off of a bench, a high bench, then to a lower bench, kind of how I coach pistols.
Yeah.
Except for just squats.
Right.
So then I slowly bring them down, and then once they get at a low enough point, then I try to wean them off of the bench to a wall once they get good at or proficient at wall squats, so that they have that more upright position. Then I start adding weight if they can do all of that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm testing somebody. I'm seeing what their baseline is. Mm-hmm. I'm taking that into my calculations, and then that's how I start my programming for 4, 6, 8, 10, 12-week programs. It just depends on the person, because if they're also doing endurance races and stuff too, like marathon, half marathon, 10K,
right.
5K.
Because you're doing the running as well.
Yes. So depending on who they are, if it's just for general fitness, if it's to supplement for racing,
Yeah.
injury prevention, that kind of stuff, I kind of have to look at all of that, and that's how I program. And then we retest after their block of time. Newer people, I typically test and retest closer together so that they can see.
Every 2 weeks or how much?
Like 4.
Every month?
Yeah.
1 month tests.
But with people that are more experienced, I prolong it more to 6, 8, 10, 12, depending on what their goal is.
Weeks?
Yes.
Okay. So it could be a month and a half. It could be 2 months, just depending on their goals.
Yes.
Yeah. What about press? So we went over pull-ups. It's how many can you do? Just strict pull-ups. Squats. It's can you do air squats? Can you do 10 of them?
Yeah. So
what about with presses?
You can press. So it wouldn't be bench press. I mean, it could be if that's what you're going for. If you're wanting more of like a barbell specific workout, but I don't coach bench press unless someone really asks for it, because I feel like everything else for general fitness is hit by all the other things.
Yeah.
And bench press is really technical.
Well, let's talk about kettlebells. That's what you do more is kettlebells or barbells?
Yeah.
Or,
So
dumbbells?
if we were to do a test for kettlebells, and those are going to be bigger gaps between each bell, right? So you've got like the 8 kilogram, the 12, the 16, the 20, the 24. So it's going to limit you a lot quicker on how much you can do.
Yeah.
I would probably, when I first start with them, not do a 1 rep max, and it would be more so of like, how many reps can you get with this 12 kilogram? We'll just say that.
How many reps?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you laying down? Are they on their kneeling?
Press.
Are they
standing
up?
Yep. Standing press.
Standing and
so either one arm, 2 arm.
2 arms at the same time?
Yeah. It's just on like what we're working on.
No, like it's not a, what do you call that when you give it a little bounce?
That's a push press.
You don't do push press? Is it a strict press?
Push press is fine for like accessory movements, but if you're working on trying to get strong and strictly strength, then you want to get stronger at your strict press. You want to get stronger at your strict pull-up. There's kipping pull-ups. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's a way that you're going to use if you're doing a time-based workout and you're trying to speed your time.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make it more efficient. It's not wrong. It's just not what I'm working towards if I'm working towards a strength training program for the majority of individuals that are just wanting general overall health and fitness or longevity.
So the beginning of your routine starts with assessing where you are.
Yeah.
And that assessment goes, it's your first test, so to speak. It's your baseline test.
Your evaluation is your first start. And that's where we start. That's what we look at.
Pull-ups, squats, presses.
Yeah.
And then what happens? What's the next phase? What is this like in between stage, in between the tests?
So I do a build up. So I usually do like a 2 or 3 week build up. It'll either be in rounds or reps, and then we drop down. So you'll have like a drop week before you test out. And you kind of go through that progression. It doesn't matter how many weeks your programming is, you're going to kind of go through that progression. And people that are more proficient or experienced can have longer durations of build up, and then they drop back and they don't have to do as much, like a shorter version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my running coaching, I usually do a 2 week build and then 1 drop back, and then a 2 week build and then a drop week, and then a 2 week build and a drop week. And if they're experienced runners, I can do a 3 week build and then a drop week.
So drop back is what? Less sets or less reps or lower weight or something? It's
Lighter,
like take it easy.
Lighter intensity, recovery style. You're still working on things, but you're not losing it, but you're not, it's not going to benefit you because, okay, so let's say we're doing a speed workout for running. It's going to take at least 2 weeks for you to see benefits from those workouts. So there would be no point in being super intense before a test week, because that's only going to wear you out, and you're not even going to see the benefits from that workout until later after you've tested. You're probably going to have a worse test week because you're tired, because you didn't give yourself time to recover.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in the program, you just do these 3? Are they working this like kind of every day, or how many days a week? Is it 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
That depends on the person too. Like if we're talking couch potato to I just realized that I need to live, then it's going to be less at first. I'm going to probably start them with 2 days a week. And it's just because I'm trying to get them, one, to not be overwhelmed and to acclimate to a schedule.
Yeah.
And it will probably be a shorter duration of time that we lift. I might have them come for an hour session, but that's because I have a lot of direction that I have to verbalize. It's not necessarily they're going to be working out for that whole hour. But they'll more than likely be doing more like 30-minute types of sessions.
Yeah.
And I will build them to more days a week as their time progresses, even through this build. So let's say the first 2 blocks of training, I have them do twice a week. After that, I might bump them up to 3 times a week. But they're still going to have that progressive overload. So they're going to build up and then they're going to drop down. And then they're going to build up and then they're going to drop down. But you're never dropping down to where you started. You're just dropping down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're lightening the load a little bit. So that you can recover, but you're still getting the movement down, patterning, working on tension, not losing the body mechanics, all that stuff.
But every time they come in to work out, will they do these 3 things every time? Or will one day they only do pull-ups and another day they only do squats, or one day they only do presses?
That's also dependent on the individual, what they're working towards goal-wise.
Most people, I have them do total body workouts for their first couple of blocks. And then if they get more proficient or experience, I will do like an A workout, B workout, and then kind of block it like that. Is total body all 3 of these things they're doing?
Yeah,
they'll do all these.
Yeah, lower and upper.
Lower and upper. And then total body, y'all, means lower and upper. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah, and cores every day. So
cores every day.
Yeah, because if you have full body tension, you should be using your core.
One of the other instructors up at Crux said that there was only like a certain number of things you could do for working out, and it was pushing things, pulling things, hinging, and carrying things. Did I miss one?
Squat.
Push, pull, hinge, squat, and then carrying.
Yeah.
There's 5 things you could do to work out your body.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say like carrying is, because that technically...
It might not count. Ashtyn doesn't count carrying.
Well, I count carrying as like an important thing to do. I just wouldn't put it in its own category. I would say that's more like accessory, unless you're working up to like a weighted carry for time, because you're in the military.
Fall into these. All the accessory ones fall into these.
Accessories fall into these to an extent because it's a different load, and it's to help with like joint integrity and stabilization.
I know, but tell me this: is carrying weight a push?
It's not.
Is it a pull?
It can be, because you got to pick the weight up off the ground.
That's true. It's kind of a squat. Then you squat
so
down
then you're also hinging.
Dang it. It's a hinge.
Dang, Ashtyn.
Ashtyn got me, but she is the professional. She should be getting me. That's her
good.
That's her job.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So the lifting routines for strength include baseline of testing out the pull-up, squat, and press, seeing where you start out at, and then you go up and you go down, and then you test out again.
Yes.
And then you go up and then you go down, and then you test out again. And this progression over time of increasing the weight, increasing the reps, increasing the sets, or playing with those are your levers.
Yes.
Your levers are weight, set count, rep count. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like intensity, duration, volume. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have kind of this rest week, and after the rest week, you kind of like, can we
try again? Bump
up to the next test?
Yes. Yeah.
And you do that over and over and over again, and that's how you progress.
Yeah.
Or progress.
Progress. That's how you progress.
That's how you progress. It's like I started the word and I didn't realize how the whole word was going to be.
That's okay.
That's how you progress.
That's how you progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is lifting routines for strength.
Yeah.
And I think what we'll do is hopefully get into the gym, either Ashtyn's home gym, or heck, we could probably do some of it here, or at the gym.
We can do it here or my house or the gym.
I mean, we want to do pull-ups, squats, and press. We probably want to simulate that.
Yeah. Well, but like we could also go over like rehab type things or warming up things, which doesn't.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
you have the
setting up
floor
all
and
this
a wall.
stuff takes. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that. And then, so then we'd kind of go over some of this, and you'd see what it looks like in practice.
Yeah.
You'd see what it looks like to test, and then she could simulate a progression.
Yeah.
Of like, here's what we're gonna do, the total body workout or whatever.
Yes.
Anything more you want to say about lifting routines for strength?
No.
No.